I'm Ayisha Yakubu. A look at our headlines for this evening.
News360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association set to embark on an exercise to enforce strict compliance with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center.
Also tonight, we bring you the story of a 52-year-old cervical cancer survivor with 4 more years to be declared cancer-free.
Later, we'll tell you how pollster Musa Dankwa became the story at the just-ended Akwetia by-election.
And before we leave tonight, Ukraine's President Zelensky condemns ruthless attack after Russia hits main government building in Kiev.
The details of these and many more stories, including sports and entertainment, coming up over the next 1 hour. Stay with us for the details.
Let's get right into it, shall we? And the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association is set to embark on an exercise to enforce strict compliance with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center GIPC Act 2013, Act 865, specifically Section 27.1, starting Monday, September 8, 2025. Now, this move aims to ensure that foreign nationals do not engage in petty trading in key business hubs like Abosokai, as stipulated by the law. The association, in a statement, argues that successive governments have failed to enforce the act, resulting in unfair competition that undermines the livelihoods of Ghanaian traders and weakens local entrepreneurship. They believe it's time to uphold the law and protect local enterprises from unlawful competition. Well, key points of contention, we're looking at unfair competition, lack of enforcement and protection of the local enterprise. The Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association, they emphasize that their action is not against foreign investment in Ghana, but rather to ensure compliance with the country's laws regulating trade and commerce. And they call on all stakeholders, including state institutions, to support this exercise. In recent years, the association has been vocal about issues affecting their businesses, including price hikes and the impact of currency fluctuations on their operations. Well, let's show you this. What the law says to protect Ghanaians performing these businesses from foreign influx. We'll see that on our screens right away. We're talking about GIPC Act 2013, Act 865, and we're looking at Section 27. This is what has been dedicated to activities reserved for Ghanaians and Ghanaian-owned enterprises. A person who is not a citizen or an enterprise which is not wholly owned by citizen shall not invest or participate in A, the sale of goods or provisions of services in a market, petty trading or hawking, or selling of goods in any stall at any place. There's also the understanding that comes with, I'm talking about the B, which is also dealing with some of these concerns that these spare parts traders, spare parts dealers at Abosokai have. If we're paying attention to what Section 27 of Act 2013 says, B says that the operation of taxi or car hire services in an enterprise that has a fleet of less than 25 vehicles. That's an eye-opener. I bet you didn't know this. There's also C, the operation of a beauty salon or a barber shop. We see them around, but there's a regulation to protect how foreigners involve themselves in this kind of business. And D talks about the printing of recharge scratch cards for the use of subscribers of telecommunications. And E talks about the production of exercise books and other basic stationery, the retail of furnished or finished pharmaceutical products, the production, supply and retail of sachet water, and H talks about all aspects of pool, betting business and lotteries except the football pool. So Section 27(1), I'm talking about the GIPC Act 2013, stipulates and explains exactly what needs to be done to protect Ghanaian businesses from, having their businesses taken over by foreign nationals. Let's go on Zoom right now and speak to the Director of Communications at the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association. His name is Techiado. Techi, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time with us on the program. First, tell us, how widespread is this problem of foreign infiltration in your business?
Good evening to your viewers. You just read the act. It's very clear, very, very clear. Now, the influx of these foreigners are taking over Abosokai spare parts industry, and especially the automotive industry in Ghana. Mm-hmm. And Abosokai, for instance, now we have more than 200 to 300 shops which belong to these foreign nationals. And we cannot, and some of them are using containers, kiosks, this kind of things. The lot is, don't do retailing, get the supply. But the same people will do supply to you at the same time, do retailing at the same time. Do you understand? Even though some of these foreign nationals have been in the market for 30 years, 25 years, 20 years, we know. And we see we are with our friends, we are cool with them. But the way the influx are getting higher in this market, if we don't act straightly, tomorrow it will create another problem. That's the reason why we are saying that we are not going to enforce the law, but we are going to act on the law. The law, we are going to act on it. So honorably, we told them yesterday, honorably, they need to close down their shops honorably. If they refuse to comply with what we are saying, then we apply the law. Enforcement will happen when we go to court for injunction and we consult the Ghana Police Service at the same time. But tomorrow is going to be very peaceful exercise, and we are willing to comply with our situation. And we know tomorrow is 3 days exercise, Monday to Wednesday. I know definitely by Wednesday we'll get a good results. If we don't take care, we are going to lose our market.
Right. Techi, this problem did not start out of the blue, and you mentioned that there are so far over 200 shops there. They didn't just come up one day. It was something that began gradually. What has been the intervention of your leadership to not for us to get to this area, this point?
You see, this policy has been existed from 1994 up to today. I'll not blame some of the old executives. I blamed all of us. All of us, we are all victims. You see, the law says as a national, Ghanaian national, don't fronting for these foreigners. Some of the Ghanaians have been fronting for these foreign nationals. That's the challenge we are facing in this country now. That's the reason why the government is unable to fight this kind of thing, because the same Ghanaians are fronting for these foreigners. Do you understand? So now we need to just apply the law, the policy, the act, so that if you're a Ghanaian and we are behind what is happening, fronting for these foreign nationals, the law will deal with you. At least you'll be because the law will deal with you. Because we are not ready to complement with anybody. What we are ready just to fight for what belongs to us, to protect our this petty trading. Because now we don't have anywhere to go. Only right. Our can have. Do you understand? So our problem is not the leaders, but the people of Ghana, the citizens. They are fighting for these foreign nationals.
Tachi,
we are losing a lot of shops in Abosokai because we don't have money to renew it. These foreign nationals are taking over Abosokai spare parts. So
if you know, Techiado, tell us about the ratio of foreign nationals operating in Abosokai to that of Ghanaians. Let's see the numbers if you have them.
Oh, probably Ghanaians, probably the foreign nationals, let me be honest with you, at least for 500 to 600 to 1,000.
So that has to do with the foreign nationals between 500
foreign nationals. Yeah.
How about Ghanaian operators?
Abosokai, we made up of 45,000 to 50,000 members across Abosokai.
Right.
But mind you, by the stores The stores are not other many, but the Abosoka is overpopulated. Do you understand? Yes. But so as a foreigner and you are holding a store like maybe 200 to 300 shops, then imagine what is going to happen next year or next 2 years. That's the reason why we need to act on the law. We are acting on the policy, not to enforce the law.
Thank you so much. Tetiado is the Communication Director of the Abosoka Spare Parts Dealers Association, speaking with us there.
Moving away from that, the National Communications Authority says MultiChoice Ghana has agreed to the Stakeholder Committee on the DSTV pricing. The first meeting is set for September 8. A release from the NCA says while the authority reviews their submission, there have been further engagements with MultiChoice Ghana regarding its public statement dated September 5, and the following clarifications have been obtained. MultiChoice Ghana agrees with the directive from the Honourable Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations for the establishment of a stakeholder committee to evaluate DSTV pricing in Ghana, and that they intend to fully participate in this work. The outcome of the stakeholder committee will be determined at the end of its work. MultiChoice has confirmed that it will respect the process and the laws of Ghana and its people. The first meeting of the Stakeholder Committee shall be held on Monday, September 8, 2025.
To some other stories tonight, and courier service and delivery operators have been giving a lifeline and grace period to register their motorbikes after the government slashed registration fee from 1,000 cedis to 500 cedis. The Minister for Communications and Data Technology, Samuel George, has warned potential operators in the space to take advantage of this initiative. In the following report, George Craney explores whether this can lead to a possible reduction in delivery and courier charges.
Well, this is a misunderstanding between a delivery operator and a client, and so it has to do with pricing issues. So this very delivery, I'm told, has been brought all the way from Osu to Kanda, and he is charging 50 Ghana cedis. He doesn't want to batch, and he wants to pay 20 Ghana cedis. That's his money, 20 Ghana cedis. And this has been at the center of most rider-client altercations.
I was swear, yo, I said I give 15 cedi, and I'm seeing money 20 cedi. Oh, my car was so and I knew the Kasakasa.
The price is very exorbitant for a destination like Osu. It will help everyone if the prices are beaten down.
It is a
20 because 50 cedis now made, you know.
20 cedis is not enough for the work I've done, considering the fact that I will buy fuel. Some of the customers are very troublesome.
Once the what kind of crap, my first I say, but we got say, Osu, never go to Osu, Osu Mono, no, that is so, but I mean, when you are also now in Namlabadi.
The concerns of many consumers of delivery and courier services have been overpricing. Paying almost the same price of what is being delivered makes no sense. On the part of these riders, mostly single bikers, the work is very risky and beating traffic comes with some skills which cannot be left uncharged, and so it must be factored into pricing. The Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Sam George, has announced a new pricing regime for the courier space. And so, for instance, if you're an operator and you want to register, you have to pay 500 cedis from an initial price of 1,000 Ghana cedis. Would this, beat down the prices of services delivered by these operators?
Please, media, there's a reason why we've kept you in this room through this meeting. You understand what we have agreed on. If we begin enforcement on the 1st of April 2026, media, help us to show the bad nuts that are not complying. And ask those bad nuts why they don't want to register. Are they engaged in fraudulent activities or criminal activities?
If you're a potential operator, you're now going to pay 500 cedis instead of 1,000 cedis for registration. Annual renewal has also been slashed from 600 cedis to 250 cedis. These the minister justified as enough grounds to go hard on perpetrators when full enforcement begins April 2026. Consumers have welcomed the new pricing regime, but are quick to have this reflected in what they pay for the services of operators.
It's too much because delivering is very simple that you can deliver. Or if you buy fuel like 20 cedis, at least if you charge the person service like 30 cedis, it's okay. Or 25 or 20 cedis, it's normal. People cannot be ordering food anytime in restaurants or in shawarma places and other places. So we can beg the deliverers so that because we can buy food 100 cedis and deliver. You take 100 cedis.
We have to reduce their price so that everything will go successful. That is all we are praying for the better Ghana and better future.
It's too much. Maybe what do you say? What Papa say? Enfant blow labadu. Maybe 100 Ghana. No, I give 40 Ghana. It's too much.
The prices they charge are too much. How can you buy food for 100 cedis and pay 40 cedis for delivery? They always want to make huge profits.
Maybe more than 500. It's too much.
In August, the MTTD and the Postal and Courier Service Regulatory Commission arrested more than 150 unlicensed courier and delivery operators in the capital. Hopefully, the new pricing regime set out by the ministry will help beat down prices in the courier and delivery space. George Quenin, TV3 News, Accra.
So, Crosby, on Friday, I was fighting a delivery guy over this pricing issue.
I see you were fighting with the
Well, because he was saying that I was 2 minutes late and he was going to charge me ×2 of the money. And
double the amount.
Double.
Right.
Double the amount. How do I pay time? At least charge me an extra 10 cedis or 5 cedis, but don't ask for ×2.
Well, there should be some form of measuring, opportunity to know how long, because of how long you've spent waiting, how much should be added to it.
Exactly, that's how it should work. Not that because you are the person who write the motto, you decide how much you're going to charge me.
They're charging for their safety as well. The risk involved in the ride.
What has that got to do with me? I'm just taking my food.
Anyways, let's do some other stories.
Now, Rosemary's life changed forever in 2019 when she received a cervical cancer diagnosis. Now at 52, she's bravely calling herself a survivor, despite having 4 more years of treatment ahead before she will be declared cancer-free. Her path hasn't been easy, but Rosemary is determined to raise awareness about cervical cancer and the importance of early detection.
It was a fight for her life, a harrowing experience for Rosemary. Her symptoms started with heavy bleeding, then came blood clots and multiple fibroids. Eventually, when the diagnosis came, it was confirmed she had cervical cancer. This marked a frightening and long journey filled with stigma and uncertainty. Rosemary's determination and resilience proved to be her greatest allies, helping her navigate the darkest moments and gradually move towards a cancer-free life. Fortunately, her cancer was detected at an early stage, which significantly improved her chances of survival.
I know what I went through, and it was not easy, but you have to be bold to do it. Because people will tell you, don't do it. Oh, and me rate me who because I know what happened. People I know they died. Yes. So many people live in my church. Now, ebi mo say menyam na mekoya abortion. Ebi mo say menya AIDS. They will not say it to your face, but omobeke cancer.
Before her diagnosis, Rosemary had limited knowledge about cervical cancer. She wished she had known about the human papilloma virus vaccine earlier, as it might have potentially prevented her diagnosis.
Na me ne colleague bi adwuma na obeware e na o se obeware no na yesi won konko hwe se oni bibia na yeso mama ne vaccine nti eho e na me hu ye.
A colleague of mine was about to get married and she was asked to do the test. That was how I heard of a vaccine. At the time, I had already been infected, so the doctors advised I get my girls checked.
Even me mano e o se me de omuko na ye ko hwe The on for be mother there, be man vaccine. Wafa be mother, no more who do omo be ye. Until I didn't know. I would have done it. I would have done it. That's why I'm advising me, man. Say me pese omo koye.
Her journey has not been easy, but she remains determined to spread awareness about the disease and the importance of early detection.
Who your ba, who menstruate, now who say, enye normal.
If you're a woman who experiences irregular menstruation, then please go and check.
Mimi who nentem. Inti me chemo a me call ye no. My chemo was different because ye me chemo. I can come to work anytime.
The 52-year-old's experience underscores the need for increased awareness about cervical cancer, its prevention and treatment gaps that needs to be addressed.
Once any woman starts having sex, about 80% of them will get HPV or human papilloma virus at a point in their lives. But 90% of women will clear it spontaneously. In certain women with what we call high risk factors for cervical cancer, like women who are immunosuppressed, women who are taking steroids, women who smoke, women who have HIV, these women are at high risk of cervical cancer. Guys can also develop cancers from the human papilloma virus. When the cancer is early, we can offer surgery. But when the cancer is more advanced, from stage 1B, 3 onwards, we are unable to offer surgery.
Currently, the treatment of cervical cancer is not captured on the NHIS, and the only way to be protected is to get the vaccine.
We are still having trouble screening. We are still having trouble vaccinating, but by God's grace, we are going to start HPV vaccination. Then we have very few gynecological oncologists to operate on patients with cervical cancer. We have very few radiation oncologists. So even with the traditional treatment, we still do have a long way to go. These should ideally be covered by the National Health Insurance Scheme. It is said to be covered, but the tariff is so low that most facilities will not offer it on the NHIA, so patients have to pay out of pocket. So yes, HPV vaccination is critical, is very crucial in eliminating cervical cancer.
Cervical cancer ranks as the second most frequent cancer among women between the ages of 15 and 44 years in Ghana. And the HPV vaccine, regular screenings and continuous education is believed to be the sure way in reducing the incidence of the disease in the country. Sarah Penkro, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, journalists are often told not to become the story. In the just-ended Akwatia by-elections, media personnel at least avoided being the story. A friend to most news producers, however, became the story, not for the wrong reasons, but for getting it right over who wins the controversial Akwatia by-elections. The executive director of the global info analytics firm, the name is written in gold for doing the work only a few will dare.
In the midst of the heat that resulted in the declaration of the winner of the Akwatia by-elections, he went on Facebook and posted, quote, "Getting Akwatia right was more difficult than the 2024 general elections," unquote. 4 weeks before the by-elections, Global Info Analytics polls showed NPP's Solomon Asumedu with a 6-point lead. Of course, against strong criticisms that he's the GOAT in lotto forecasting, he announced 53% for the NDC candidate and 47% for the MPP candidate. In the final 4 days to the Akwatia by-elections, the polling showed MPP losing the earlier momentum they enjoyed prior to the campaign. It was clear the change in the results few weeks after the poll suggested NPP was ahead, and that was going to be his biggest test by far.
I want to also cite the team that went to Akwatia on those 2 occasions, led by Dr. Eugene Ahin from UCC and his entire squad, were so not concerned, wanting to get it right. So we sent a team from Cape Coast to go and cover Akwetia, which normally something that we don't do. And this is the result of their work.
Among news producers who had admired his work ever since he burst onto the scene to fill the void of the slippery rope only a few dared, their man had put himself in the firing line. Someone on social media suggested, quote, "Trust me, Uncle Musa is swimming in deeper waters than his NDC friends," unquote. On the political shows he was invited to prior to the elections, he stuck to his new figures and defended it like a fowl would protect its young ones from the claws of the hawk. In the morning of the Akwetia by-elections, Musa Dankwa put all that he had worked for on the line and put out figures in research circles were near perfect. 53% for NDC's Beidu and 47% for MPP's Asumedu.
For me, everything that I do starts from the demography. There are people who study demography and are able to predict what will happen 20 years from now.
Yes.
That is what we did in Akwetia. We looked at a profile of Akwetia constituency in the last 10 years and realized that it has shifted dramatically in terms of educational level.
One thing was clear. He knew the demography of his birthplace in the eastern region, a native of Apinaman, a key electoral area in the Akwetia constituency. Musa won the hearts of most Ghanaians and became the story at Akwetia. Some evenly jokingly suggested he should predict the next coming of Christ. Clearly, Musa Dankwa has carved a niche for himself, and against all odds, he maintains his neutrality, following messages and calls on social media from a number of NDC followers for him not to start polling for the NDC presidential primaries. He rejected this call and posted on Facebook, quote, "Please, NPP did not tell us what to do and how to do our work before the 2024 elections, so no one in the NDC should try it. If you don't want to see your race, look the other way," unquote. He argues that his work is to make the process of selecting leaders for this country transparent by providing the relevant information to the people of Ghana and the delegates what they need to know before selecting leaders.
This is News 360. We have some more news coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love Flamingo paint because with this small paint, I paint huge area, meaning more profit for me. Great value for money.
As an architect, Flamingo paint, with its well-researched and solid composition, guarantees durability for all my buildings.
Flamingo paint, superior hiding, superior coverage, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Bold patterns,
Thank you for staying with us. Let's bring you some more stories this evening. Ghana loses an estimated 28,000 lives every year to poor air quality, a crisis the Environmental Protection Authority, EPA, is now tackling. The EPA has set up a permanent air quality monitoring network in Tema to provide real-time data, guide decision-making, and strengthen efforts to curb pollution.
Constant exposure to pollutants, including fumes from vehicles and industries, open incineration of waste, and other harmful environmental practices is making the air in parts of Ghana's major cities unsafe for habitation. The State of the Global Air Report 2024 identifies air pollution as the second leading risk factor for death worldwide, including among children under 5. Globally, air pollution caused by particulates such as dust, carbon dioxide, salt, metal particles, and other toxic gases account for 8.1 million premature deaths in 2021. In Ghana, the World Health Organization estimates 28,000 deaths annually from air pollution, a figure expected to rise if stringent measures are not intensified. Children and adults with underlying conditions such as asthma remain the most vulnerable.
Air quality can increase the cost of treatment by our public health institution. So the health burden, the money government spends on health, can also increase. So we expect the industries to adopt cleaner and more fuel-efficient technologies. We expect our own communities, our households, to aggregate waste, segregate waste, and collect waste properly.
To monitor prevailing pollution levels, the Environmental Protection Authority has established a permanent air quality monitoring network in Tema, one of the country's most industrialized zones. 7 low-cost sensors have been deployed to track real-time data across high-risk locations, including Kpung, Tulaku, Communities 3, 7, and 25, Tema Mahian, and Tema Port. A reference-grade monitor is expected to be installed by the end of 2025. Launching the project, Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Alhaji Yusuf Sulemana, underscored the need to pay attention to climate-induced pollution and its devastating impact on human health.
We are all aware that air is a crucial resource for the survival of the entire ecosystem. However, our current actions are impacting on the quality of air that sustains our very existence, and the reality is so evident. Therefore, the solution is not with the government alone. Hence, we all need to take action as we race to ensure clean air for all.
Head of the EPA's Environmental Quality Unit, Selina Okambia Amwa, explain what people should look out for when assessing air quality data.
So if we look at the air quality index and the color code is more than green, if it is yellow, it means that it is okay, but for sensitive people, they may have some health effects. But when it becomes orange, red, those colors, it means that the impact is increased for everybody.
Country lead for the Clean Air Fund, Desmond Appiah, called for alternative modes of transportation to reduce pollution caused by vehicular emissions.
Pollution levels are going up still, despite the efforts. Just calls for us to rethink the way we are doing things. I've heard the minister talk about building a dual carriage to Kumasi. Why not put another form of transportation which will move goods and services? But we always want to go for road. Let us think beyond that in our policy interventions so that we move people, move goods and services, but do not cause the pollution.
The EPA says it is working with metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to roll out monitoring mechanisms and collect data that will shape interventions to reduce air pollution and protect public health. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, still on the environment, more than 50% of mangrove cover in the Keta Ramsar site is believed to have been depleted due to the indiscriminate cutting of mangroves by residents in communities along the coastline. This phenomenon is believed to be a major contributor to the devastating climate change crisis hitting settlements along the Keta Lagoon, needing a more resilient and sustainable restoration mechanism.
The Keta and the Songo areas alone have 3,700 hectares of mangrove forest, constituting about 64% of Ghana's total mangrove cover, which serves as a natural habitat for aquatic life and support for the ecosystem. But over time, overexploitation has led to the loss of more than 50% of mangroves in the Keta-Ramsar area.
Per Ghana's wetlands regulations, you cannot take any woody plants or any vegetation from the core zone, but it has to do with the livelihood issues. Government does not own the mangroves. These mangroves are owned by individuals, families, and the communities. And without cutting, they don't make a living. But currently, what is happening now, I don't see it as sustainable harvesting. It's rather clearing of mangroves. People are not harvesting it sustainably.
We are losing mangrove at a faster rate. We've lost almost about 50% of the mangrove. The lands are bare. They do not support any economic activities. What can we do with them? We want to restore these mangrove areas, bring back the mangrove. But even the mangroves that are there, how can we sustainably manage them? Okay, managing sustainable mangrove requires us to use some level of integrity in managing those mangroves, not cutting them indiscriminately.
In communities such as Galosota, Anyanwi, Jita Agledomi, mangroves are used as firewood, serving as a major source of fuel, a situation believed to be a contributing factor to the devastating climate crisis hitting communities along the Keta Lagoon lately. To end the vulnerability of these communities, Action Aid Ghana and the Habitat for Humanity International are implementing Component 2 of improving resilience of coastal communities in Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana.
This project is in response of the devastating consequences of climate change that is ravaging the coastal communities in Ghana. For example, the World Bank suggests that about 7,000 hectares of coastal lands have already been devastated. The EPA suggests that about 1.2 million people in the Kita and the Amologa districts are already facing huge consequences that will cost government about 1.2 million Ghana cedis.
The project is aimed at carving community-driven approach that puts people at the center, with focus on early warning systems, nature-based solutions, and climate-resilient livelihoods. About 11 communities in the Volta and Greater Accra regions are expected to benefit from the project.
And now, mother of 5 missing children, Skolista Ayisha, has reunited with the children. All 5 who fled into Côte d'Ivoire returned safely. A visit to the solar camp saw all 5 children with their mother.
Of this conflict, many women have lost their husbands. Others cannot even locate where they are. Amidst all this, as this woman right here, who cannot locate her 5 children. She searched for the children for close to a week since conflict. Now, you do remember or recall that we did a story that has to do with this woman, Madame Skolista Ayisha. Today, we are back at the solar camp to engage with Skolista. Fortunately, she's here with her 5 kids, including the 6th one. We are going to engage them to find out where they've been and how life has been for them. The person who saw, one mommy catch say Maira. About the say book on him and a Davena Mobaha.
Friends, my parents are and I don't know, see them and the person,
Now, Mammy F show, no one's over here. Not saying I will be.
To some other stories tonight, savings is always a good idea, particularly when an emergency rears its head. For some, it's a luxury in an economy that's crunching people's meager incomes. Banking sector volatilities in the last few years have not made it easier. But amidst the gloom, there are still some people for whom saving, even if it's just a cedi per day, goes a long way. Judge Queening has more in this report.
Alima does not own a bank account and has never saved at a bank before. The traditional method of saving money has been Assure's financial security ever since engaging in a watch business some 36 years ago.
Me say no many bank accounts because sometimes usika bank process.
Personally, I don't own a bank account. The procedures at the bank are stressful, so I save home.
If I have small now, I have it for house.
She tells me she cannot allow herself to be stressed with financial formalities when accessing her own funds at the bank.
Very important. Say me advise you fully say obia even say kakrapo ukoto edwani and ukoto bibi.
It is very helpful, so I advise everyone to save the little they get for a rainy day.
Alima saves the little profit she gets on a daily basis from her business. But there are those that feel that they need to earn a certain amount of salary before they can save. Financial experts advise that you can save with as little as 1 cedi if that's what you earn in a month. Just give it a try.
Savings is a habit. It's a pure habit. If you don't save when you're earning 600 cedis, you won't save when you're earning 6,000. You won't save when you're earning 60,000. Otherwise, guess what will happen? I could be the CEO, nice office, lots of power. But if I spend all that I'm paid, a day will come when I will ask the cleaner for a loan. Say, oh, Kwesi Mensah, please, just go down the road and buy me something. I'll give the money to you. Use your money, I'll give your money to you. You're not speaking the truth and the full truth and nothing but the truth.
There is no pathway to wealth if you don't save, Joe Jackson emphasized.
When I go out, I will accept coins. Not only accept coins, sometimes I'll say, oh, you can give me change in coins. And then when I come, I open it, I drop it in here, and I close it. And I keep putting in and in. I have one at home, and I have one in the office. And I've been doing this for slightly over a year. In fact, it's now full. It's time to break it out, take the money to the bank, and hopefully I'll get some decent money.
Former Black Stars player Samwajan shares a strong conviction on savings and will be amazed at what he saved during the COVID lockdown.
You see? Inside, one room. Little drop of water makes a mighty ocean. Yeah? You can also do it too. You can also do it. Look. Yes, sir. Serious habits. Serious habits. See?
Susu Box has been a key asset in homes before the infiltration of banking systems. Although an ardent seller of these boxes at the 37 lorry station, Antikoni has stopped the use of Susu Box. The reason? Her kids always break into it, and that is one disadvantage potential users are exposed to.
I started to scale gum about 10 years. By me, the guma,
I've been using the box for more than 10 years until my kids started breaking into the box. People do buy the boxes.
Equally beneficial is the group savings. Comfort has 3 groups she's a part of, where she pays daily, weekly, and monthly. If it's a 10, her monthly savings will earn her 8,000 cedis and the daily 2,000 cedis. The disadvantage, those that receive their funds express low interest in fulfilling the obligation.
If people show low interest after payment, we take them out. Also, those that collect the monies sometimes find it difficult to account for every cedi paid.
The bank may seem the ultimate, but it also comes with its disadvantages.
In recent times, when there was the domestic debt exchange program, it was a huge disincentive to saving. Because what did it mean? I had saved my money. I was expecting it in a year or two's time. Now, they've asked me to spread it for 12 years. In some instances, 15 years. And get it small. And even the rate of interest I was expecting dropped from 19% all the way down to some instances 9% or lower. You will ask yourself, should people continue to save?
Saving money in your house or in your safe or under your pillow can be very risky, because at the end of the day, in case there's an outbreak, an unfortunate outbreak of fire or something, or even theft, and the money is taken away, then you've lost it all. So I will advise that people should rather concentrate in savings with the financial institutions. That place, there's guarantee, there's security.
Any way you decide to save, be it the bank, Susubos or group savings, make sure you are guided to invest heavily in your life. George Queening, TV3 News, Accra.
And now, the Metropolitan Chief Executive of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, KMA, Akwesi Ajiman has said he's on course to make the metropolis a clean hub. According to him, poor sanitation has over the years been the biggest bane and an obstacle to growth and development.
The KMA boss, in an interview with our news team, said they have secured technical assistance in collaboration with development partners. Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, KMA, in collaboration with informal sector waste workers, Bola Taxi and Tricycle Association, and JSO Waste Managers organized a city-wide cleanup exercise. The exercise is part of preparation for the funeral of the late Asante Hema Nana Kunedu Yard on the 3rd, scheduled for Monday, September 15, 2025. The cleanup exercise aims to ensure that the city of Kumasi is spotless to honor the late Asante Hema and make it presentable for visitors who will be mourning with Asante Man. The mayor was seen physically desilting choke gutters, demonstrating his commitment to the exercise. Members of informal sector waste workers, Bola Taxi and Tricycle Association, and JSO Waste Managers took part in the cleanup exercise. Schools like CARS, Asanteman SHS, Bantama SDSHS, and others also contributed to the success of the cleanup exercise. The cleanup is expected to contribute to maintaining the dignity and cleanliness of Kumasi during the funeral proceedings of the late Asante Hema. The mayor of Kumasi, Ejiman Buedi, said the exercise is to ensure that the city of Kumasi is clean and befitting to welcome mourners and dignitaries who will join Asante Man to honor the late Asante Hema.
It is the main ceremonial road for guests who will be kept at the former Golden Tulip Hotel, now Lancaster. Whoever comes from Edum and wants to go to Mensha Palace, this is where they will use. And if we're going to have dignitaries come, that is where we're going to host them. So they're going to pass through the ceremonial rules to get to there. So it is important that we get this place of filth. And this is a problem that we have been grappling with for over 20 years.
The national president of informal sector waste workers, Lydia Banfo, said they collect more than half of the waste generated in Accra. She said the exercise was successful.
It's very successful. So we say mayor kita prayer na all forces say obey gatem. And this shows say ye nyina no ye ni so ade hunu no eye baako. And ye pese ye adwumaden ye achieve one goal. Ahoho e be free amanone ebeba abeye ayie no. E so mbe hunu say ampa ye ka say Asante region is greener. Nche say eye green ampa.
It's now time to bring you sports news with Bilishan.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, the Black Stars continue their preparations for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Mali, completing their final training session earlier on Sunday. Some new inclusions like Kwesi Sibo and Alexander Jiku trained alongside Joseph Pinto to give head coach Otuado more options going into the crucial match. Now, Courier J was at the Accra Sports Stadium and came through with this report.
So 15 months ago in Bamako, Jordan Ayew and Ernest Nyamesgo helped the Black Stars to win 2-1 against Mali away. This time in a return fixture, the Black Stars will be hoping to get all 3 points at the Accra Sports Stadium against Mali to make sure that the points build-up in Group I is favorable to the Black Stars as they yearn for yet another World Cup qualification. At the Accra Sports Stadium today, the Black Stars have engaged in their final training with 23 players available, including new boy Kwesi Sibo, who is currently training with the team. Coach Otuado is also very optimistic about getting the necessary points against Mali. He admits that the team were all very disappointed in getting only 1 point against Chad, but in the game against Mali on Monday, he promises that his team will go all out and give Ghana the win so far as the World Cup qualification is concerned.
The whole team, everybody was very disappointing after the draw and Chad. The expectation was high for us to win, and we were disappointed. We analyzed the game very well and hope that we learned out of this, and we surely, I'm very, very sure we show another face here in Accra. Surely it's easier to play at home with our spectators supporting us, pushing our last percentage out of the bodies of the players, but also to play in the evening on grass. I expect a different face of the players. I think, I hope that we learned out of the mistakes we did against Chad, and the good thing is, at the end, we still have it in our own hands. We have to keep the pace high. It will be very, very difficult against Mali. They're in a good shape, so I'm looking forward for tomorrow.
From the Accra Sports Stadium, I am Akusia Eji for 3 Sports.
Let's also listen to what some fans present at the stadium think going into this must-win game against Mali on Monday at the Accra Sports Stadium.
My expectation is to get results out of that game. Apart from the results, we shouldn't think about anything else. I believe that the Black Star game we played against Chad has been a wake-up call for us, that we shouldn't underrate any team.
I expect Ghana to win easily, with ease, no stress, 3-0, and we are done, we are fine.
The expectation is very massive. All we are looking for is the players has to be up their games so that we can take our 3 points, inshallah.
Of course, the game will happen at 7 p.m. on Monday between Ghana and Mali at the Accra Sports Stadium. Bringing an end to sports here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen.
Payment News segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyled
and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
In entertainment news tonight, residents of Cape Coast have commended the Ogua Traditional Council and the Planning Committee of the Ogua Fetu Festival for inviting people from diverse ethnic backgrounds to participate in the celebration. This year's festival featured the notable presence of His Majesty from the Olu of Warri Kingdom in Nigeria, a gesture that residents believe will foster intercultural heritage and economic benefits.
Accompanied by drumming and dancing through the principal streets of Cape Coast. The procession culminated at the Victoria Park or Jubilee Park, where traditional leaders and Asafu groups converged for the main event. Hundreds of people from far and near attended, including political figures and stakeholders. Residents and patrons praised the Ogwa Traditional Council for promoting unity and diversity by inviting people from different ethnic backgrounds, including a Nigerian king, which was a notable gesture towards fostering tourism and economic growth.
We can drive our traditional contest for economic development, and we can also go beyond our borders to look at where we can align ourselves for cultural exchange and for the societal growth. So that is one thing that the committee sought to do. And last year we celebrated the city of First. And in planning this year's festivity, we saw that the Kingdom of Warri was also a city of First in Nigeria. So why don't we align ourselves through innovation? Then we elevate the two cities and present to the world what Nigeria and Ghana stands for.
Let's now bring you some international news.
Ukraine's main government building in Kiev has been hit for the first time in the war during Russian attacks, the Ukrainian Prime Minister has said, adding that the building's roof and upper floors were damaged and a fire ignited due to an enemy attack. At least 4 people were killed in strikes across the country, including a baby and a young woman who died after a 9-story residential building was hit in one of Kiev's districts, officials said. Ukraine's Air Force reported that a record number of drones and missiles were launched by Russia in the latest nightly attack, more than 800 in total. Ukraine's President Zelensky said the barrage caused damage in many cities in the country. He said on social media such killings now, at a time when real diplomacy could have started a long time ago, are a deliberate crime and an attempt to prolong the war.
That's our package tonight, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I'm Ayisha Yakubu. GMB is up next. Good night.